The TSS Artemis drifted silently through the void, its quantum-masked hull absorbing every trace of radiation that might betray its presence. From the bridge, Commander Sarah Chen watched the massive alien fleet through the ship's advanced sensors. 37 Dominion warships, their crystalline hulls glowing with barely contained energy, surrounded a small garden world. The planet's inhabitants, the peaceful Etherian race, had no idea they were about to become the latest conquest of the expanding Dominion Empire. Status report. Sarah commanded, her augmented eyes processing tactical data faster than any natural human could. The bridge crew, hand-picked from Earth's finest, worked with practiced efficiency at their stations. Dominion fleet maintains siege formation. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez reported from tactical. Their energy signatures suggest they're charging weapon systems. Planetary bombardment likely within the hour. Sarah's jaw tightened. For 50 years, humanity had hidden its true capabilities from the galaxy, appearing as nothing more than a primitive species barely capable of reaching their own moon. Meanwhile, they had quietly developed technologies that would reshape the balance of power in known space. The Artemis itself was proof of that achievement, a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Commander, First Officer David Zhang's voice carried an edge of concern. If we intervene, there's no going back. The Council's directive of non-interference. We'll have to adapt to reality. Sarah finished. We didn't spend half a century preparing to stand by and watch innocent worlds burn. She straightened in her command chair. Battle stations. Prepare the quantum cascade array. Warning lights pulsed silently throughout the ship as crew members moved to their combat positions. The Artemis revolutionary weapons system had never been tested in actual combat, but simulations suggested it could disable multiple capital ships without destroying them, a demonstration of power and mercy that would send an unmistakable message. Ma'am, Lieutenant Jessica Patel called from communications. I'm intercepting Dominion transmissions. They're giving the Aetherians their final warning. Surrender or face extinction. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Perfect timing. Position us between the fleet and the planet. Deactivate stealth systems on my mark. She opened a channel to all hands. This is the commander speaking. For 50 years, humanity has watched from the shadows as species like the Dominion imposed their will on the galaxy. Today we show them, and everyone else, that the era of unchecked aggression is over. The bridge crew's tension was palpable as the Artemis glided into position. The massive Dominion warships, each one dwarfing their vessel, remained oblivious to their presence. Sarah watched the tactical display, waiting for the perfect moment. Stealth systems disengaging in 3, 2, 1. Mark. The Artemis shimmered into visibility directly in front of the Dominion flagship. Almost immediately, the alien vessels reacted, their weapon systems swiveling to target the unexpected arrival. Open communications, Sarah ordered. All frequencies. The main view screen came to life, revealing the imposing figure of Dominion Fleet Commander Vexthor. His crystalline form pulsed with angry red energy. Unknown vessel, you dare interfere with Dominion military operations. Identify yourself immediately or be destroyed. Sarah stood, her augmented eyes meeting the alien commander's gaze. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Terran spaceship Artemis. You are engaging in unauthorized military action against a peaceful species. Stand down immediately. Vexthor's crystalline form sparkled with what might have been amusement. Terran. Earth. The primitive world that barely achieved lunar landing. His voice carried equal parts mockery and disdain. Remove your vessel immediately, or we will demonstrate why the Dominion rules the stars. Very well, Sarah replied calmly. Lieutenant Rodriguez, initiate quantum cascade. Target their weapon systems only. The Artemis's quantum cascade array activated, sending waves of precisely calculated energy that phased through the Dominion ship shields as if they didn't exist. One by one, their weapon systems went dark, disabled by technology they couldn't even comprehend. Impossible. Vexthor's form pulsed chaotically. "What have you done?" "We've temporarily disabled your weapons," Sarah explained, keeping her voice level. "Your life support and propulsion remain intact, a courtesy you weren't planning to extend to the Aetherians. Consider this a demonstration of capability and restraint." She paused, allowing her next words to carry full weight. "Humanity has watched and learned while you and others carved up the galaxy. We've developed technologies beyond your understanding, preparing for this moment. The Aetherian system is now under Earth's protection. Withdraw your forces, or we will demonstrate what else we can do." The Dominion fleet hung motionless in space, their mighty weapons rendered useless by a single ship from a species they had dismissed as primitive. Sarah could almost see the calculations running through Vexthor's mind. If this was what one human ship could do, what other capabilities might they have? "This isn't over," Vexthor declared, but the threat in his voice had diminished considerably. "You're right," Sarah agreed. "This is just the beginning. Humanity is emerging from the shadows, and we're rewriting the rules of engagement. Withdraw your forces. When you return to your superiors, tell them this: the galaxy is changing. The strong will no longer prey on the weak, not while we're watching." As the Dominion fleet retreated, their mighty warships slinking away like chastised predators, Sarah received a transmission from the Aetherian capital. Their consciousness-merged leadership expressed both gratitude and awe at humanity's intervention. "Why reveal yourselves now?" they asked. "Why risk the Dominion's wrath to protect us?" Sarah's answer was simple: because it was right, and because the galaxy needs to know that humanity stands ready to defend those who cannot defend themselves. She turned to her crew, pride evident in her expression. "Send word to Earth. Operation Daybreak is now active. The age of hiding is over." As the Artemis maintained its protective position over the Aetherian world, news of the encounter spread across subspace channels. Throughout the galaxy, oppressed species dared to hope, while imperial powers trembled. Humanity had finally revealed itself, not as conquerors, but as guardians. And this was only the beginning. The Grand Chamber of the Dominion High Council erupted in chaos as the holographic replay of the Aetherian incident concluded. Emperor Zaxtel's crystalline form pulsed with dark energy as he absorbed the implications of what they had just witnessed. Their mighty fleet, disabled by a single ship from a species they had dismissed as insignificant. "Explain this failure," he demanded, his voice resonating through the chamber. Fleet Commander Vexthor's holographic form flickered as he responded, still light years away with his retreating fleet. "The human vessel, this Artemis, possessed technology we've never encountered. Their hull absorbed all scanning attempts. Their weapons bypassed our strongest shields as if they weren't there. They could have destroyed us, but chose not to." "And that?" First strategist Clara interjected, her form shifting from troubled green to analytical blue, "is perhaps the most concerning aspect. They wanted to demonstrate their power while showing restraint, a calculated move that will undoubtedly inspire other species to seek their protection." Meanwhile, aboard the TSS Artemis, Commander Sarah Chen was engaged in a secure quantum communication with Earth's Defense Council. The holographic figures of humanity's leadership appeared in her ready room, their expressions a mixture of concern and approval. "The operation was a success," Sarah reported. "The Dominion fleet withdrew, and the Aetherians are safe. More importantly, our message has been received across the galaxy." "Indeed," Admiral Marcus Hayes nodded, his weathered face showing signs of both satisfaction and worry. "Our monitoring stations are picking up massive amounts of subspace chatter. Every major power is discussing humanity's emergence. The question is, are we truly ready for what comes next?" Sarah activated a holographic display showing the positions of Earth's hidden fleet. Dozens of ships as advanced as the Artemis, strategically positioned throughout known space, their quantum masking technology keeping them invisible to all conventional detection methods. "We've spent 50 years preparing for this moment," she stated firmly. While the galaxy saw us struggling with primitive rocket technology, we were reverse engineering crashed alien ships, developing quantum physics beyond anything they've achieved, and building a fleet that could protect not just Earth, but any species facing extinction or subjugation. In the Aetherian capital city, first speaker Lyra stood before her people, her bioluminescent form glowing with hope as she addressed the massive crowd. For generations, we lived in fear of the Dominion's expansion. Today, we witnessed something unprecedented, a species that chose to hide its strength until it was needed to protect others. The Aetherian crowd pulsed with colors of agreement and gratitude. Among them, Dr. James Wilson, Earth's unofficial observer for the past decade, smiled quietly. His cover as a primitive human scientist studying Aetherian biology had served its purpose, allowing him to monitor Dominion movements while evaluating the Aetherians as potential allies. Back in Dominion space, a secret meeting was taking place. Emperor Zaxtel's most trusted advisors gathered in a secure chamber, their forms dimmed to avoid detection. "Our intelligence network has failed us completely," Clara announced. "We've recovered data showing human observers placed throughout our territory, disguised as simple traders, researchers, even refugees. While we watched their primitive space launches, they were watching us, learning our weaknesses." "How?" one council member demanded. "How did they advance so rapidly without detection?" "They didn't advance rapidly," Clara corrected. "They advanced methodically, hiding their progress behind a facade of primitive technology. The rockets we observed launching from their planet, carefully orchestrated shows while their real ships slipped invisibly through our space." In Earth's lunar defense complex, Admiral Hayes reviewed the latest intelligence with his staff. The Quantum Entanglement Network, another technology humanity had kept secret, brought real-time updates from every sector of known space. "The Dominion is mobilizing their reserve fleets," an analyst reported, "but they're clearly uncertain. Their usual aggressive posture has been replaced with defensive formations." "And the other powers?" Hayes asked. "The collective of free worlds has already sent diplomatic feelers through back channels. The Meridian Commonwealth is discussing an alliance. Even some Dominion client states are quietly reaching out, testing the waters for potential protection." Sarah Chen's voice came through the quantum link, her hologram appearing among them. "Admiral, we're detecting increased activity in the Aetherian system. Multiple ships emerging from FTL, but not Dominion vessels. These are representatives from various independent worlds and smaller powers. They're requesting diplomatic contact with Earth." Hayes smiled grimly. "Then it's time for Phase 2. Commander Chen, the Artemis will serve as Earth's temporary embassy. Your crew has been briefed on diplomatic protocols." "Yes, sir. Though I doubt any protocol could have prepared us for this level of response." "Remember your training," Hayes advised. "We've spent 50 years learning their cultures, their languages, their ways of thinking. Now we show them that humanity's strength lies not just in our technology, but in our ability to understand and work with others." As the Artemis prepared to receive its first diplomatic delegations, Sarah stood at her viewport, watching the gathering of alien ships. Each represented a species that had suffered under Dominion expansion, each hoping that humanity's emergence would change the balance of power in the galaxy. "Commander," Lieutenant Patel called from communications, "the first diplomatic shuttle is requesting permission to dock. It's the Meridian Commonwealth's ambassador." Sarah straightened her uniform. "Signal our readiness. And Jessica, make sure our guests understand. Earth doesn't seek to replace one empire with another. We're offering partnership, not subjugation." As the first shuttle approached the Artemis docking bay, news of humanity's true nature continued to spread across the galaxy. In hidden chambers and public forums, in royal courts and refugee camps, species of all kinds debated what this revelation meant for their future. The age of humanity hiding in the shadows was over. The age of humanity standing in the light, standing for something greater than power alone, had begun. The observation deck of the TSS Artemis had been transformed into an impromptu council chamber. Representatives from 23 spacefaring species sat around a holographic table, their diverse forms illuminated by the soft glow of the Aetherian sun. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the head of the table, her augmented eyes taking in every subtle gesture and expression from the assembled diplomats. The Dominion's fleet movements suggest they're preparing for a major offensive, she explained, manipulating the holographic display to show tactical overlays. They've recalled forces from their outer territories, leaving several subjugated worlds virtually undefended. The Meridian Ambassador, a being of pure energy contained within an ornic mechanical shell, moved forward. They expect us to take advantage of their withdrawal, to liberate those worlds. It's a trap. Precisely, Sarah nodded. They're hoping to draw our forces into isolated engagements, to test our capabilities and potentially defeat us in detail. She paused, allowing a small smile. But they don't understand what they're truly facing. In the depths of Dominion space, Emperor Zaxtel reviewed the latest intelligence reports with mounting frustration. The humans had not acted as expected. Instead of immediately moving to protect vulnerable worlds, they had remained in position, gathering allies and sharing technology. "Show me the analysis," he commanded. First strategist Clara activated a complex holographic model showing power distributions across known space. "The humans are providing their quantum shielding technology to their new allies," she reported. "Not their weapons, not their stealth systems, just defensive capabilities. They're creating a network of worlds that our conventional weapons cannot easily harm." "A strategy of denial," Zaxtel mused, his crystalline form darkening. "They seek to make conquest too costly to attempt." Back on the Artemis, the Alliance talks had reached a critical point. The Aetherian First Speaker's bioluminescent form pulsed with determination as she addressed the gathering. "For too long, we believed that advanced technology alone determined a species' right to exist freely in this galaxy. Humanity has shown us a different path. They developed in secret not to conquer, but to protect. They reveal themselves not to dominate, but to defend." Dr. James Wilson, now serving openly as Earth's diplomatic advisor, stepped forward. "What we propose is not just an alliance, but a fundamental change in how species interact. Earth has developed technologies that make conventional warfare obsolete. We offer to share defensive technologies that will make it impossible for the Dominion or any other power to subjugate your worlds." The collective's representative, a hive mind controlling multiple robotic bodies, spoke with all its voices in harmony. "And what do you ask in return for this protection?" "Partnership," Sarah answered simply. "Earth doesn't seek subjects or tributaries. We seek allies who will stand with us to create a galaxy where strength no longer determines who lives free and who lives under domination." In a secure facility beneath Europa's ice, Admiral Hayes and his staff monitored the diplomatic proceedings while coordinating humanity's hidden fleet. Quantum entanglement communications brought real-time updates from ships positioned throughout known space. "The Dominion is moving faster than expected," his tactical officer reported. "They've begun arming their civilian ships, converting them to military vessels. Our estimates suggest they could double their fleet size within months." Hayes studied the strategic display. "They're afraid. For the first time in centuries, they face a power they can't simply overwhelm with brute force. How are our production facilities proceeding?" "The lunar shipyards are operating at full capacity. The quantum shield generators for our allies will be ready for distribution within weeks. Mars Defense Industries has completed the first batch of retrofit packages for allied vessels." On the Artemis, the Alliance talks had entered their final phase. Sarah stood before the assembled representatives, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's commitment. "We understand your hesitation. Earth hid its true nature for 50 years. Why should you trust us now? Look at our actions. We could have conquered. We could have dominated. Instead, we waited and watched, intervening only when necessary to prevent extinction or enslavement." The Meridian Ambassador's energy form pulsed with agreement. The humans speak truth. Their technology is centuries ahead of even the Dominion's best achievements. They could have conquered us all. Instead, they offer protection and partnership. One by one, the representatives signaled their agreement. The Alliance of Free Worlds was born, not through conquest or coercion, but through a shared vision of a galaxy where technology served protection rather than domination. As the diplomatic gathering concluded, Sarah received an urgent quantum communication from Earth. Admiral Hayes' hologram appeared in her ready room, his expression grave. Commander, long-range sensors have detected something troubling. The Dominion isn't just arming ships, they're constructing something massive in their core systems. Something that's causing spatial distortions we've never seen before. Sarah's augmented eyes narrowed as she studied the sensor data. They're desperate enough to try something experimental, something that could backfire catastrophically. Agreed. The Alliance may face its first test sooner than we expected. Are they ready? Sarah looked out at the departing diplomatic vessels, each carrying the plans for quantum shield technology that would protect their worlds. They're not just ready, Admiral. They're committed. The Dominion tried to build an empire through fear. We're building an alliance through hope. As the Artemis prepared to escort the diplomatic vessels home, its quantum sensors detected increasing disturbances from Dominion space. The galaxy stood on the brink of transformation, and the next few weeks would determine whether that transformation would come through peace or war. Humanity had emerged from the shadows. Now they would prove whether they could stand in the light. The quantum sensors aboard TSS Artemis screamed warnings as space itself seemed to tear apart. From the massive rift emerging at the edge of the Aetherian system, the Dominion fleet emerged, not in dozens, but in hundreds. At their center, a massive construct pulsed with otherworldly energy, its crystalline structure warping the fabric of reality around it. Commander Sarah Chen's augmented eyes processed the tactical data streaming across her command interface. Analysis of that central structure, she ordered, her voice steady despite the unprecedented threat before them. Lieutenant Rodriguez's hands flew across his console. It's some kind of dimensional fracture device, Commander. They're trying to create localized areas where our quantum technology won't function. Energy readings are off the charts and highly unstable. They're desperate enough to risk tearing space itself apart, Sarah muttered. She opened a channel to the Alliance fleet assembled around the Artemis. 30 ships of various species, all recently equipped with Earth's quantum shield technology, awaited her orders. All vessels, battle formation Delta. Remember your training. They'll target our smaller ships first. Maintain shield synchronization. She turned to her communications officer. Alert Earth. The Dominion has forced our hand. Request authorization for Protocol Omega. The space between the fleets crackled with energy as the Dominion's dimensional weapon began to power up. Emperor Zaxtel's image appeared on all Alliance frequencies, his crystalline form blazing with triumph. Surrender now, he demanded, and we may yet show mercy. Your quantum shields cannot protect you from what we have created. The natural order will be restored. The strong shall rule the weak. Sarah's response was calm but firm. The only thing you've created, Emperor, is a danger to everyone in this sector, including your own people. Stand down, or we will be forced to demonstrate capabilities we had hoped to keep in reserve. The Emperor's laughter echoed through the communication channels. You bluff, human. We have seen your technology. Impressive, but not invincible. Our dimensional weapon will strip away your advantages, and then... The transmission cut off as the Dominion fleet opened fire. Hundreds of energy beams converged on the Alliance formation, while the dimensional weapon created rippling distortions in spacetime itself. Quantum shields holding, Rodriguez reported, but the dimensional distortions are increasing in intensity. We're detecting microscopic tears in the fabric of spacetime. Sarah nodded grimly. They've fallen into the exact trap we predicted. Lieutenant Patel, signal Earth. Execute Protocol Omega. Across the Alliance fleet, hidden systems activated. What the Dominion had dismissed as simple defensive technology revealed its true nature. The quantum shields synchronized, creating a network of interconnected fields that began to pulse with complex patterns. Quantum resonance network established, Rodriguez announced. All Alliance ships are synchronized. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Now they learn why we only shared our defensive technology. It was never just about protection. It was about creating a unified response system. Execute pattern sunburst. The Alliance ship's quantum shields suddenly pulsed in perfect harmony, creating a cascading wave of organized energy that swept toward the Dominion fleet. As it passed through their formation, ships began to power down, their systems locked in quantum stasis. By the void, the Meridian captain's voice came through the comm. You turned our defensive shields into a weapon. Not a weapon, Sarah corrected. A system of absolute control over quantum states. We couldn't risk sharing the offensive capabilities directly, but we could build them into the defensive systems, waiting to be activated when needed. The Dominion's dimensional weapon began to pulse erratically, its attempt to disrupt quantum physics backfiring, as the Alliance's unified shield network contained and redirected its energy. Emperor Zaxtel's voice returned, now tinged with fear. What have you done? Our ships, they're locked in some kind of stasis field. We've demonstrated true strength, Sarah replied. Your dimensional weapon was doomed to fail because you fundamentally misunderstand quantum physics. You tried to disrupt it. We learned to work with it, to shape it. The quantum shield network doesn't just protect. It maintains order in space-time itself. She stood from her command chair, addressing not just the Emperor, but all listening channels. This is humanity's true gift to the galaxy. Not domination through force, but protection through understanding. Your ships are disabled but unharmed. Your crews are safe. Even your dimensional weapon is being contained, preventing it from causing permanent damage to the fabric of space-time. The Alliance fleet moved forward, their synchronized quantum fields maintaining control over the battlefield. Sarah's voice carried the weight of humanity's long-prepared revelation. For 50 years, we studied, we prepared. We developed technology that works with the fundamental forces of the universe rather than against them. We could have built weapons of unimaginable destruction. Instead, we created systems of protection that could, when necessary, enforce peace without bloodshed. Throughout the disabled Dominion fleet, crews watched in awe as their mighty armada was held helpless by technology they couldn't even begin to comprehend. The dimensional weapon, now contained within a complex quantum field, powered down safely instead of tearing reality apart. Admiral Hayes' voice came through the quantum link. Well done, Commander. The Emperor is signaling his surrender. The Alliance Diplomatic Corps stands ready to begin negotiations. Sarah nodded, watching as the combined fleet of former victims and oppressors hung suspended in space, a tableau of the galaxy's transformation. The hard part begins now, Admiral. Building trust will be more challenging than winning battles. Perhaps, Hayes agreed, but you've given them the perfect object lesson. Real power isn't about destruction. It's about control, understanding, and the wisdom to use both for the benefit of all. As the Alliance ships moved to secure the Dominion fleet, Sarah reflected on humanity's journey. They had hidden their strength not out of fear, but out of responsibility. Now that same responsibility would guide them in reshaping the galaxy, not through conquest, but through protection, understanding, and the shared pursuit of knowledge. 1 month after the Battle of Aetherian Space, the Grand Assembly Hall of the newly constructed Galactic Concordat hummed with activity. The massive structure, built using a combination of technologies from all member species, floated in neutral space, a symbol of the new era. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation window, her augmented eyes taking in the steady stream of ships arriving for the historic gathering. Quite a change from hiding in the shadows, isn't it? Admiral Hayes approached, his formal uniform gleaming under the light of distant stars. Sometimes I still expect to wake up and find we're still pretending to be stuck in low Earth orbit. Sarah smiled, watching as a Dominion diplomatic vessel took its place alongside former adversaries. Change comes quickly when the alternative is mutual destruction. The Emperor's dimensional weapon proved that. Speaking of which, Hayes produced a data crystal. The final analysis came in from the Quantum Science Division. The Dominion's experiment would have created a cascading collapse of space-time throughout the sector. They were so desperate to counter our technology that they nearly destroyed themselves. In the assembly chamber below, representatives from over 50 species gathered around the central platform. The Dominion delegation, led by a notably humbled Emperor Zaxtel, sat alongside the Aetherian First Speaker and the Meridian Ambassador. Former enemies, brought together by the revelation of humanity's true nature and the demonstration of a better path. First Speaker Lyra's bioluminescent form pulsed with calm authority as she addressed the gathering. 1 month ago, we witnessed not just a battle, but a transformation. The Dominion's attempt to assert supremacy through destructive force was countered not by greater destruction, but by understanding and control. The Emperor's crystalline form shifted in acknowledgement. We had believed that power came only through dominance. The humans proved that true strength lies in restraint, in the wisdom to develop technology that protects rather than destroys. Dr. James Wilson, now Earth's official ambassador, stepped forward. For 50 years, humanity watched and learned. We saw empires rise through force, only to face constant rebellion. We saw alliances break under pressure. We decided to take a different path. He gestured to the holographic display, showing the network of quantum shields now protecting worlds throughout known space. We developed our technology not to rule, but to preserve. The quantum shield network doesn't just defend. It maintains stability in spacetime itself. It prevents the kind of devastating weapons that nearly tore our sector apart. In orbit above the assembly hall, the TSS Artemis maintained its vigilant watch. Lieutenant Rodriguez monitored the quantum field readings from his tactical station. The network is operating at peak efficiency, Commander. Every shield in every system, working in perfect harmony. Sarah nodded, remembering the battle that had demonstrated the network's true purpose. And the Dominion fleet, fully integrated into the defense grid. Their ship's quantum signatures have been synchronized with the network. They couldn't build another dimensional weapon now even if they wanted to. The assembly hall fell silent as Emperor Zaxtel rose to speak. His once imposing form seemed somehow humbled, yet dignified. The Dominion Empire was built on the belief that strength through superior force was the natural order. Humanity showed us a different kind of strength, the strength to wait, to prepare, to develop power not for conquest, but for protection. He turned to face the human delegation. We spent centuries building an empire through fear. You built something greater in 50 years through patience and wisdom. The Dominion formally requests full membership in the Galactic Concordat, accepting all provisions for technological integration and mutual defense. Admiral Hayes stepped onto the central platform. The Concordat welcomes the Dominion, as we welcome all who choose to join this new path. Earth's technology will continue to be shared. Defensive systems first, then gradually the deeper understanding of quantum physics that makes them possible. Sarah watched the proceedings from above, her augmented vision capturing every detail of this historic moment. A quantum message flickered across her visual field. A status report from Earth's hidden shipyards. The construction of new vessels continued, but now they were being built openly, their designs incorporating innovations from all member species. They're calling it the Pax Humana, Lieutenant Poddle remarked, joining her at the window. Though it's not really peace through human dominance, is it? No, Sarah agreed. It's peace through shared protection. Every shield we activate, every ship we upgrade, becomes part of the network. No single species can dominate because the technology itself maintains balance. As the assembly concluded, ships of former enemies departed together, their quantum shields pulsing in synchronized harmony. The galaxy was transforming not through conquest or subjugation, but through the gradual spread of technology designed to protect rather than destroy. In her private quarters later, Sarah reviewed the day's events with Admiral Hayes. "Do you think they'll ever forgive us for hiding our true nature for so long?" Hayes smiled. "They already have. We proved ourselves not through words, but through actions. We had the power to conquer, and we chose to protect. That's a lesson that will reshape this galaxy for generations to come." The TSS Artemis powered up its quantum drive, preparing to escort the diplomatic flotilla back to their respective worlds. As the ships moved in formation, their shields pulsed with shared energy, a visible reminder that in this new age, protection and cooperation had replaced domination and fear. Humanity had emerged from the shadows not to rule the galaxy, but to guard it, to guide it toward a future where strength served the cause of peace.